Welcome back. Making news this morning. European leaders are this morning rallying behind Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky following his heated exchange with President Trump at the White House. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer leading the charge, announcing billions in additional funding for Ukraine.
I've been hosting European leaders here in London to work together for the security of the United Kingdom, Ukraine and Europe as a whole. We will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. We are at a crossroads in history today. This is not a moment for more talk. It's time to act, time to step up and lead.
Let's get today's take on this with journalists John Mangos and Shelley Horton. Mang, I'll go to you first on this because we don't need to dissect the couch and whatever happened at the White House on the weekend, but I guess what's happening now is this sort of isolation of Donald Trump and America from other world leaders, particularly NATO world leaders. In your experience, how bad is this looking?
They're really bad. I couldn't agree more with the British Prime Minister when he said this is not just about Ukraine's security, this is about Europe's security. We've got to do whatever we can as a continent to help this country out. And for some reason, Donald Trump wants to go the other way. You tell me.
I can tell you.
Oh, okay, sure.
He's a dictator. We have an American president
you got the first syllable
dictator.
right.
I mean, he's lost his marbles. He is a bully. And I love that we now have everyone in Europe going, actually, sorry, America, you do not get to push us around. Because this is the thing, Ukraine now, who's next? Who's next?
Yeah.
And I think that it's getting to the point where he's only been in for his second presidency for months and it's just escalating.
Disaster.
He is such a bully.
It's interesting to see Volodymyr Zelensky standing by the side of King Charles today because we know Donald Trump is very serious about the royal family and has such a fondness for being close to the royal family or appearing to be close to the royal family.
He happens to be the head of a sovereign nation which has been invaded.
Exactly, like the Ukraine.
Right? So,
There's solidarity there. So,
but you know Trump he'd want to be in that pick. He'd want to be next to the king.
So it's interesting to see how he will respond to what has happened in the last 24 hours.
Do you remember that time he walked in front of the Queen and couldn't find her? It was a good time. As for Australia's response, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese continues to tread carefully, although he has backed Ukraine, and it's kind of turning voters off him in a poll that's revealed the majority of Aussies backed Peter Dutton to best handle President Trump. Here's the thing, John. They may be, I don't know if they're more politically aligned or not. I mean, just because they're on the right side of politics doesn't mean that Dutton supports everything that Trump does. Right. But I would actually object that there's no one who could probably in the world handle Donald Trump.
We've had the same discussion off camera. Dutton or Albanese, doesn't matter. No one can deal with this lunatic, right? So you can't differentiate whether Dutton's policies are more aligned or not. It's got nothing to do with it. The man is impossible to do business with. End of story.
I think the only person who's appropriate to handle this is a psychiatrist. That's what it is.
Even then, Sorry, we've just got some drilling happening.
I thought maybe he'd been swearing.
No, it's the CIA just bugging us now because we've said too much.
It's JD Vance coming in to settle the room. Don't worry,
it was actually something I ate.
All right, stay with us. We've got more to come right after this. We'll be back in a moment.
Thanks.
We all know our very...
Welcome back. This is interesting. Maybe. Aussie Formula One star Oscar Piastri has slammed the sport's governing body following their decision to fine drivers caught swearing over their own team radio.
Hilarious. John and Shelley are with us to discuss. So, Shelley, drivers will be fined up to $200,000.
I know.
I mean, that's not your average swear jar, is it?
That is a very big swear jar.
Yeah.
Now, you know I'm not a sports girl, but I'm addicted to Drive to Survive. I love it. I've watched every season. And I think they are going at speeds where they may die. They're allowed to swear.
They don't have time to self-censor.
If the broadcaster has a problem, there's a button you press to go beep. But also just have a warning up saying there might be some swearing. These guys are allowed to do whatever they want.
John, you get behind the wheel of a car, you're a very placid man. You're a saint.
When you're pushing your wheels at 400 k's an hour around a corner, you can say whatever you like.
I agree.
I mean, if you go in and it's like, well, those pit stops take like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if it's 4 seconds, you're like, Thank you, guys. I'm a little late now. What are you supposed to say?
Yeah.
You know?
There's something that's a little
in the
bit
heat of the
more to say.
moment.
And it's an F word, not a TH word. But yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know the other thing
It's
is
F1 for a reason, you know.
I
Correct.
have never
What's the F
sworn
stand
on
for?
TV.
Sorry?
I've never sworn on
Go on then.
TV. I'm not going to do it today. But what happened was I do swear a lot in real life.
What?
When I called my brother when his kids were in primary school and they were in the car, I dropped the F-bomb by mistake. And he's like, the kids are in the car. And he's just like, pretend you're on TV. And then let's flipped a switch in my head and I don't swear.
See, I am on TV. I swear in front of my kids all the time. I say sorry. And they're like,
Sorry.
we're used to it now, Dad.
Yeah, Dad.
All right, thanks, you two. Great to see you both.
Lovely to see you.
See you
Lovely to
soon.
see you.
Stay with us. Breaking news ahead from Sydney, where a Qantas plane has...